Hello and welcome to what's going to end up being a pretty short video idea, but I still think it's a fun one to do, and also free content and free clicks. So this was suggested by Void DW, and it is simply going to be, what if Marissa beat Anastasia in the tiebreaker that Isabel forced them into in season 4. So this was during the Thief by Night challenge. Well, I guess not during it, after it. And as we know, Isabel idol played and did her villainous, aka awesome move, one of my favorite moves ever, by pitting Anastasia and Marissa against each other. But a lot of people wanted Marissa to actually win that because they wanted Marissa to go in and do more on her own, and they thought Anastasia's character was pretty good, pretty much over. Like, they were good with how much she had. So, we're going to have that happen. Now, this does affect a lot, considering Anastasia literally makes Final 3. So, let's see what changes now. So, first we start with Pit Stop. Pit Stop is originally the elimination episode of Zayd. But I don't think this would happen, as I don't think Marissa would try to press too hard on that. Instead, I think Marissa would try to unify this group, even though she knows there is a leaker that leaked it to these two. Unlike Anastasia, she would try to unify this group of 4 against these two, because they all kind of share a common enemy. Now, Jade wins immunity here, and by getting Zayd on here, getting Logan on here, and getting Amelie on here, who knows who leaked, by the way. Then Hannah as well, probably, just because Amelie and Hannah are good friends. I genuinely don't see a universe where Isabel doesn't get cooked right after. So honestly, in my opinion, I'm glad Marissa was voted out there, because that would be my least favorite character, or my most favorite character in this season. And one of my favorite characters in this whole show would be eliminated right after and look really, really stupid for that crazy move. So then we get to Taking New Heights. Now, Taking New Heights is originally the episode, I believe this is the ball episode. Anastasia and Isabel win immunity because you're in sets of 2, and Amelie's voted out. So here, I think that we'll have, what groups will we have? I think Amelie and Logan, because she's still blackmailing. I think we can have Jade would want to go Marissa, and I think Marissa, who is willing to forgive Linda for so long, would be okay with that, because Jade's like, I need you to hear me out on something, and Marissa would be like, all right. And then Hannah and Zayd would go together. And I think overall, I think that Marissa and Jade win the immunity here, mainly because not only does that make Jade have the immunity, who's the obvious target, but because it allows Marissa to act on what Jade told her. And what Jade told her is that, hey, I just want you to know that the leaker is Logan. And since Logan's already the biggest physical threat outside of Marissa, to Marissa, as well as her really not liking dishonorable people and liars and all that, because, that's definitely not something an army person would want. She's able to rally these 3 up and go against Logan. Now, I think that maybe she just gets these 2 at first, and Logan pins it on Zayd, and then Marissa's like, could Jade be lying? But Marissa's emotionally more intelligent than Anastasia, so goes up to Zayd, asks Zayd, and Zayd gets pissed off, which sends Crybaby Logan home in 6th place. So maybe I do like it, because now Logan's gone. I don't know. An eye for an eye. I lose Isabel, you lose Logan. So then we get to our final 5, and I think Marissa really appreciates the honesty, and also recognizes that. Oh, and also, by the way, the jury vote is announced this episode. So recognizes that she needs to have good jury numbers. So she wants to align with Jade, who she thinks would have the least good time in the jury, Jade and Zayd. What she's also able to get in Zayd by telling them that these two are gonna, if they let one more elimination happen, then these two are gonna make final two together because they really are locked in as a friendship. So, who originally wins immunity in Dunces and Dragons? This is originally when Anastasia gives it to Logan. Instead, I think just by pure grit and determination, I could see Marissa on her own, maybe with Zayd and Jade, or at least Jade. I think Marissa would be able to make it through this challenge and win her self-immunity once more, which means that at elimination, these three would go for Amelie. So then we have Panel of Peers, which would play out similar with Isabel having her Jade, her whole Jade, like, I don't even know what that was, like, political campaign. And then Logan and Anastasia, Amelie would be about similar as well, but Logan would probably be wanting to go for Hannah, and obviously Anastasia wants to go for her girlfriend. So, yeah, nothing actually happens in Panel of Peers, though, to get somebody out. Okay, I was just very rudely interrupted by my sister, but whatever. But we have Hit the Brakes. Now, the only person who was here originally was Jade, and I really don't think that would matter too much, because I think at this point, everyone's kind of flying for themselves. Marissa and Jade aren't, like, really loyal to each other right now. So it's kind of just who's going to win immunity, and then we'll see. And I think that Hannah would win the immunity here, because I don't want, I really don't want, well, do I think Hannah, what's better for the plots? Because I really got to start thinking what's better for the plot here, because of the fact that all four of these characters are not outside of Jade, really, but not as much for Jade, since this timeline makes Jade's not as impressive, Jade's gameplay. So I'm actually going to say that I need to think about who's the better plot for people to actually care about these characters, because people already think Zayd and Marissa are kind of mid, and then Hannah would probably, honestly, with Jade not being as impressive, be my winner pick at this point, but I'm obviously not going to make it biased. I'm going to give Jade the immunity. Also, we can't have Marissa win, like, every single immunity now. So I think that with this immunity, Jade is able to convince Zayd and Hannah that the person that they need to get out is Marissa, because she's an insanely huge comp threat, and unless she gets out by the jury, which is not really that likely, then she's definitely going to win that $1 million in the final two challenge. So Marissa is voted out, and we come to Judge, Jury, and Executioner. Now, as for who I think wins this, I think that Hannah would have a pretty good poker face. She works at a bar, so I think that she'd definitely be able to win this challenge. She's also just a thrill seeker in general, and it's better for the plot because we don't want the super popular chick to be the one who gets, sorry, my brain's not working, who gets to just destroy whoever's on the other side. So let me bring up quickly Anastasia, Isabel, Logan, and Amelie, and we'll do Judge, Jury, and Executioner. So let's do, and Marissa, my bad. I'm going to use these two things just to be as where, if I put someone on Jade, that means they're voting for Jade to get out. If I put someone on Zayd, that means they're voting for Zayd to get out. So we'll start with Benji. I think Benji would vote for Zayd to get out. At this point, Zayd does forgive him, rather. And Zayd forgives all the people in this episode that he hated. But, which is really just Benji, because for getting Ivy out, because he didn't get freaking destroyed in one of the worst eliminations ever in this timeline. Mainly because Logan got screwed over instead, which is a lot more satisfying. But anyways, Benji would still go for him over Jade, though, because, well, I mean, like, he likes both of these people. But also, I gotta think he's definitely with Tristan at this point. And I think him wanting to go for Tristan and Ivy being better, mainly Tristan, though, he might want to go for Zayd, but at the same time, he does know about Jade's noble goal. I think this could kind of go either way. I'm going to save Benji for the end. Now we have, let's do Richard. I think Richard would be a pretty easy just vote for Zayd because he probably doesn't really know too much about either of them, and I think he would just respect Jade more gameplay wise and just think that she really earned her spot here, and Zayd did too, but Zayd had a few meat shields and stuff, while Jade really was better gameplay wise with like Dispenser, Isabel, I guess, all that kind of stuff. Natalia. Natalia, I think she's kind of a bitch, so I think she'd like how salty Zayd is, but at the same time, I don't think she'd care about like any of the strategic stuff or any of that. She just care about the drama, and Jade has like no personality, at least in the eyes of a lot of people. I actually think she does. You just gotta look for it. But I'm going to go there. So then Spencer obviously loves Jade, so we're going to put him voting Zayd out. Anastasia, definitely going to go for voting Jade out because Jade is the person who helped with Isabel, put Anastasia and Marissa against each other. Isabel obviously is really good friends with Jade, similar to Spencer. Is going to go Zayd. Logan did frame Zayd and feels really bad about it, so I feel like as a constellation for that, or I don't know if that's the right word, but as a kind of I'm sorry for that, he'd vote Jade. Amelie would respect Jade's game moves more than Zayd's floating and would go for Zayd. And Marissa, oh no, Marissa would go for Jade because of the same reason of Anastasia, which means that Benji, the person who likes them both, has to choose which one to eliminate, and I'm gonna say that he goes for Zayd, just because it feels better to have Jade win this, well, maybe not win the season, but win this, than Zayd being a finalist. And I also feel like Benji would just like the noble goal more, and also just feel that Jade trusts him a little more. And I think that Zayd and Tristan and Ivy would all understand, and Benji would still become a honorary member of the Vibe Tribe. Not this episode, but maybe next episode. He still would become an honorary member of the Vibe Tribe, though. So, all that to say, let me quickly put everybody up here. All of our merge people up here. And what I'm just doing is just getting them all out of the way. I'm just moving them. Except, hold on, let me just put Zayd here. And then we'll do this. So, our final two, Hannah and Jade. So, would they want the goofball to win, being Hannah? I think that Hannah, the problem with Hannah is, if Hannah had an episode like she did on her original elimination episode where she got all happy and stuff again, I think that it would be fine for her to win the season. But she could also have the thing of her being super depressed and just locked in for the entirety of the merge, and then winning the season and her finally being happy, because she'd be really, really sad if she had all this pain for nothing. Then again, Jade also is a really satisfying winner, so I feel like this could kind of go either way. Jade, by the way, has Isabel as her helper, while Hannah would have, I think Hannah would have Logan as her helper. I think that'd be pretty good. That way we can get some Logana in there. And I think overall I'm going to give this win to Hannah, even though I like Jade more. So, yeah. Honestly, with this final three, though, you could kind of go with whatever. Mix it up in any way you want. But that's going to pretty much do it for this very, very short little what if. Once again, thank you for Void DW for suggesting it. And thank you all for watching. If y'all want your own challenge suggestions, yeah, it might take a bit for me to get to them considering how many of them there are, and considering that a lot of them might take like multiple parts. In fact, there's one where I'm going to turn into like a freaking 12-part series, if not more than that, because each episode is probably going to be like an hour and a half long. It's going to be huge. Which is going to be What If Total Drama / Disventure Camp. All the seasons of both shows had randomized casts, but like in Total Drama Island, they can still have Disventure Camp characters in there, and in Disventure Camp season 1, they can still have it, and it'll all be completely the cast members, I should say, would be completely randomized. outside of like the All-Star seasons, they wouldn't be randomized. But I think that's a really, really fun idea. But there's a lot of great ideas. And if you want your idea, like I said, comment it below, like, and subscribe as well, obviously. And I cannot wait to catch y'all in the next one. See ya!